Hello and welcome into the backfield. I'm your host Connor Schaff, and today I have a very different type of video for you. I honestly have something that I'm very excited to do with you guys and go through today, and it is a different type of video than anything I've done on my channel to this point. So it'll be an interesting thing to see how this video does and how you guys respond to it. Before we get into it, I do want to thank you all for the support on my recent college football committee ranking projection video. That video did so well, and I'm so happy that it did. Those videos don't take a ton of time for me to do, but I am doing them at 2 o'clock in the morning so I can get them out to you as soon as possible, and I really appreciate you guys showing that support for it. That being said, let me explain the concept of this video a little bit. Now, I'm a big sports game fan. I'm also a big geography guy. And I play quite a bit of Geoguessr. Well, at least I used to. I probably haven't played Geoguessr in a couple of years, to be honest with you, but I used to be so into Geoguessr. It was, whenever I felt like not doing anything in high school, Geoguessr was the go-to game. And let me tell you, there was a lot of time I didn't feel like doing anything when I was in high school. So, this is the video idea. I am going to be playing Geoguessr on this map called An Improved World. Apparently, I've heard it is a better map than the world map that's default on Geoguessr. So this is the one we're going to go with. And what is going to happen is if I guess the country correctly, then I will get to pick a player from that country to be on my FIFA or EAFC 26 team. Then, if I guess in the correct continent, then I get to pick from 5 players from that country, and I will spin a wheel, and the player that it lands on will be the player that is added to my team. And if I guess the country completely wrong, the country that it is from, I will find a list of every single player in EAFC from this country and do a random number generator for every single player, and whichever number I get that corresponds to the order they are in that list will be the player that I get. This isn't really my own idea, to be honest with you. I actually am recording this after watching King of the Fourth Quarter. It's one of my favorite YouTubers, one of the people that really inspired me to start doing YouTube. So definitely, obviously, if you're watching me, you've probably watched him before, but I do appreciate him coming up with the idea, and he does use it for NBA 2K. I'm going to give it a try with FIFA. But let's go ahead and get right into this. I will be playing with moving 1 minute and 30 seconds. I used to be quite good at Geoguessr, but once again, I haven't played in a couple years, so I know a little bit of meta here and there, but we'll see how this goes. So let's start with our first place. Immediately, I'm thinking Australia or South Africa here. Another one it could be is Brazil. There are definitely some very different places that this could be. Let's take a look at this car if we can. Here we go. So it's definitely not in the EU. We're not seeing an EU plate. Honestly, this is very blurry. I'm definitely getting South Africa vibes here, so I think that's what I'm going to go with. This wouldn't be the greatest of places if it... Oh my gosh, it was Australia. So, yeah, we are going to get a completely random player from Australia. I was on the right track. We just did not get anywhere close to right. So I found this pretty cool site that lets you take a look at every single player in the EAFC 26 database and lets you sort them by country. So we are going to use this for finding our players, and because for these random ones, for a country like Australia, because the Australian League is in EAFC, then there are like hundreds of players, so we're just going to do a random number generator of the first 50, and for that I'm just going to do it on my phone and show you. So I am going to do a random number generator from 1 to 50, and we get number 7. So we are going to, what we're going to do is we'll count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we get Massimo Luongo from Millwall FC. And funnily enough, I actually know who that is. That is insane. It's because he plays in the EFL Championship for a half-decent team, but that's always positive. So I will be adding him to the list and moving on. Okay, this could be anywhere. It's definitely giving off Europe vibes. I'm thinking like Belgium here. It's gotta be Europe. There's nowhere else that this could be. See if we can get anything out of this. It could honestly even just be the UK. It does feel a little too hilly, but these kind of roads feel very UK-like. Oh, here we go. Whoa, is that Portuguese? I feel like that's Portuguese, so we're going to go with Portugal. And if this is Belgium, then I'm going to be very sad. Well, okay. So I didn't even get the language correct, so that is just quite depressing. But we're now 2 for 2 on getting the continent wrong. So now we are going to get a random player from Colombia. And we are going to go through this 23 times, by the way, to build a full roster. And I am not going to get to do anything once I build the team. We are just going to simulate as a Premier League team and see where we finish in the Champions League, where we finish in the Premier League, etc. So we got Colombia, and it is random, so I'm going to use the random number generator once again, and we have number 32, which means we have to do some counting. I will skip forward until we figure out how that is. So it looks like we have got Neymar from Seattle Sounders. Once again, somehow that is somebody that I know, specifically because he plays in MLS. And this one isn't amazing, but it is what it is. We take it. Hopefully we'll get better players later on, but sure. Welcome to the team, Neymar. So, next up, we have whatever this is. Apparently, I have no idea what I'm talking about, so honestly, that looks like an American license. Oh, well, I imagine, I have a sneaking suspicion that this is Hawaii. Whoa! It's not Hawaii, but I guessed the country right. I don't know why somebody from St. John's, Arizona has an Aloha license plate on their car, but your guess is as good as mine. On the positive side, I do get to pick my player from the U.S. I'm sure you can imagine who I'm going to go with here. We'll see who I pick for each one as well. I am going through all of these first and then going back and doing the picking, but you will see the picking after each time, so it will still happen in order. So we got the United States, and I'm sure to absolutely nobody's surprise, I will be taking Christian Pulisic. That's a pretty easy one. Let's move on. Oh my gosh. Well, this is America, right? This is giving off serious, like, Western Texas vibes. Oh, never mind. This is Israel. I'm quite confident of it. It could also be It could also be the UAE. Hold on, let me. I'm fairly sure that's Hebrew. So. Oh my gosh! Of course, it's in Jordan and not in Israel. So that must be. I imagine that's Arabic then that we saw. But at least now, part of the issue is I don't think there are too many Jordan players in FIFA. We'll see what our options are, but I will get to pick from 5 players. If there are 5 Jordanese players in FIFA, we'll see. But yeah, at least that's the closest guess I've had. Well, we got Jordan, and I'm sure to almost nobody's surprise, there's only 3 players listed for Jordan in EAFC 26. I find that pretty ridiculous, to be honest, given they qualified for the World Cup. How do you only have 3 of their players in the game? But I digress. 2 of them are decent players. One of them we probably don't want, though he seems like a bit of a young superstar. But we will do a random number generator, 1 to 3, and we get number 3, of course. Because why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? So, Ibrahim Sabra, welcome to the team. Now we have, this looks like South America for sure, I think. That's not an EU license plate, so that definitely helps. It could also be like Indonesia, though. So I'd love to get a little bit of language. I am thinking out of... Ooh, what? Here we go. This looks like something. Oh, yeah. So that's... So we at least have the continent, right? This is definitely South America. My original thought was Chile. I'm not sure, though. What would have... Could even be Argentina. Let's see. Where do I want to go? Yeah, I definitely feel like it's going to be somewhere along this strip here. We're in a very mountainy region. I'm going to go with my initial guess of Chile. Probably... Of course, it's Mexico. Wow, why do I even bother? Hopefully the next round will be better. So, Mexico, we are going to get a totally random team from Mexico. Awesome. And we got Mexico, and unfortunately this one is going to be fully randomized, which means we are going to have to do a random number generator, 1 through 50. We are going to put that in and get number 8. So that's not too bad. Let's go ahead and just count right in front of our eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We get Eric Sanchez. That is honestly not too bad. He is actually a free agent just because the Liga MX is not actually in EAFC still somehow, but it used to be. The good old days it was. We now have our next one here. I know that this is this is somewhere in Europe. That's a European bollard there. That I remember. Let's see what this sign looks like. Oh, here we go. Okay, I am confident this is either Hungary or like Lithuania. I kind of just want to go Lithuania, to be honest. I don't know about the U's. I know they have the Z's like that. Let's see if we can zoom in on Hungary and see any U's like that. This is interesting. Where do I go here? I'm just going to go Lithuania, to be honest. We'll see if it is correct. It is actually the Czech Republic. Interesting. Well, I got the continent right, so I will get my pick of 5 players, but it's not, it could be better. We really need to get some better countries overall. We now have the Czech Republic, and we get 5 picks to choose from for this one. I'm just going to use a random number generator just because making the wheel is too difficult and I'm lazy. So we're going to go with Patrick Schick as 1, Provod as 2. How do you say his name, man? The Czech center back from Wolves as 3, Thomas Souček as 4, and we'll go with, just in case we can get a goalkeeper down early, we'll go with Kovar, the PSV goalkeeper, as 5. So we will do the random number generator 1 through 5 and get number 2. So that will see us get Lucas Provod added to the team from Slavia Praha. Welcome. Let's take a look at where we are here. Immediately when I see red sand, I think like Eswatini. Oh, where has that car? Is this Kenya? That's kind of where I want to guess. I feel like Kenya has this car. We have a big group of people coming up here. Oh, actually, that is horses. That is interesting. Let's take a look at this guy. Okay. I think I'm going to go Kenya here. And if it's Eswatini, I'm going to be so very sad. Now, the issue is I honestly do not know if there's a single player from Kenya in FIFA. But at least I got my first one, well, technically I got the US one right. But this is the first impressive one I got right, and it's of Kenya. Well, I have to say, I'm pretty surprised by our options for Kenya here. I did not realize there were so many players from Kenya in EAFC 26. And to be honest, I think I'm just going to go with the highest overall guy here. Good center back depth. We are going to go with Joseph Akumu out of Stade de Reims. Well, so this is somewhere in the EU for sure. I know I said that last time and it ended up being Colombia, but this just has to be. This is giving off serious Germany vibes. Could be like Austria as well. That bollard kind of looks like the Austrian flag. Oh, let's take a look at these cars. Do they have an EU license plate? They do. So at least we know that we're going to get the continent right. Is that Belgian? That is definitely not French or German. I mean, not French. It could be French. It's definitely not German or Austrian. Oh, let's take a look at this next sign here. Uh, 26 seconds. Why am I going back this way? Oh, it says the same thing. I kind of want to go Belgium here, though I feel like it could be like even Ireland or something too. But let's see. It is France. That's tough. But we get my pick of 5 players from France. That is a great guess. We take that for sure. We needed something big like that. So we have pick 5 from France, and I'm going to, as my 5, pick Mbappe, because I have to, Dembele, Saliba, Koundé, and Mike Maignan. Just so we have some center back options and goalkeeper options as well. And so for our random number generator, we get number 3, which means we get William Saliba. And as an Arsenal fan, I am super happy with that. We are on our 9th pick now. That is some sort of Southeast Asian language. Um, I wonder if we see some... Yeah, so this is somewhere in Southeast Asia, right? That does not look like a Southeast Asian person, though, I gotta be honest. What do we go? Merom Golan. Oh, I don't know. I definitely feel like it's Southeast Asia. I kind of want to go Thailand. We see like a guy on a motorcycle too. That's something very common. Let's go ahead and put down Thailand. And if I see anything in these last 30 seconds, then I can change. But I don't think I'm going to see anything else. Why does this feel so touristy, though? Like, where could this be? Oh my gosh, that was... Clearly I got to a... That is Hebrew. Oh my gosh, I am so dumb. On the positive side, I did get the continent right. But we get 1 of 5 players from Israel. That's not the end of the world. There are definitely some okay players in FIFA from Israel. So we now have Israel, and we have to pick 5 guys to pick from. I think I'm going to go with our top 4 guys here, as well as Abada, just because I know him from playing on Charlotte, so why not pick him? Hopefully we get one of these top guys. I would love Oscar Glock, though. That would be quite amazing. And we get number 1, which means we'll get Menor Solomon from Villarreal. I should have specified that number 1 would be Glock, but is what it is. Welcome to the team, Menor Solomon. Let's see what this sign says. That is in English. This is giving serious American vibes, right? This has got to be America. Now, the advantage of America is I can pretty much get it. Well, I'm not sure anywhere in the world would have a grill and barbecue with chicken, ribs, steaks, and seafood with an Indian gift shop as well. This has to be Arizona, right? I think I'm going to go ahead and go Arizona here and call it a day. It's Utah, but that's okay. We get the country right. We'll get another player from the U.S. Unfortunately, there's definitely a drop-off after the top player, but we do still get to get somebody. Well, we have the U.S. again. I get to pick, so I'm going to make this brief and quick. I'm going to go with Anthony Robinson and get our left back situation secured. Welcome to the team. Now, this is interesting. I am not sure where this would be. So that is Spanish. So, and this is definitely not Spain. With all these cactuses, I kind of just want to guess Mexico. I don't really think South America has a lot of cactus. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and make that guess. Oh my gosh, of course. It's Argentina. And like in the middle of nowhere too. Now, still, there are some great Argentina players in FIFA. There are also some probably not so great. So we'll see who we end up getting. But at least we get a big country again. And now we have Argentina. There are a ton of potentially good options here. And honestly, even in the top 50 players, there's probably no one that'll be too bad for us. So let's see who we get. We get number 22. Let's see who that is. So that is Facundo Medina out of Marseille. Not too bad there. We honestly can always use some more defenders just because that's not the first person that comes to mind when you think of picking a player. So getting some of those guys through random is good. Welcome to the team, Facundo Medina. Next up, we have another very European-looking place. Let's see if we... So that is an EU license plate. So once again, we're guaranteeing ourselves at least a top 5. Let's see what this is here. Interesting. What does... I saw that... I don't know what that even looks like. Oh, well, so this has to be like Sweden, right? Sweden, or does anybody else even do those O's like that? Ooh, yes. This is Sweden. We're finally going to get one. Let's go. There we go. We take that. So I will get my pick of players from Sweden, and I think I know who I'm going to pick. It's a certain striker that has not been very good in real life, but I think he's still pretty highly rated in FIFA. I would hope so. Well, it's Sweden, and it's my pick, and I baited you a little bit there. Why would I go Alexander Isak when I can go Victor Gyökeres? Who cares that he's higher overall and younger? I want to go with my guy. Welcome to the team, Victor Gyökeres. Ooh, we are in like a major area. We can probably find another what's it called? URL here. Interesting. Where is this? Well, this is in France. Oh, so this is just in Lille. Well, I feel like I have to pick a Lille player here. I'm going to note that because we do have France, but I just feel like given the context of this one, I just have to pick a Lille player, right? What are the chances in this challenge? Of course, we get a mural of Lille in Lille. So I decided for this one, we have to go with Lille. And man, do we have the perfect pick. We have the wonder kid, Ayub Buati. We are going to go with him, not even think about it. Obviously, this is only a 1-year career mode, but you got to go with the kid himself. Okay, next up, we have... What even is that? Is that Italian? I have no idea. That is some interesting architecture there. Oh, I really was hoping for a better... Whoa. That is interesting. What happened to the... I've lost the car. That is sad. I'm trying to check for an... Okay, so that's not an EU license plate. This has to be in South America then, right? Let's go ahead and get something on the board. Let's go with Peru. But it just didn't... The language didn't look like it was Spanish. What language is this? I think I am gonna go... I think I'm gonna go with like Turkey. That kind of... It's Indonesia. I thought about going there at the end. That is tough. There are definitely some more Indonesian players in FIFA than there used to be. They've had a lot of like dual national players that they've picked up, but it is going to be random here, so I doubt we'll get somebody too good. Well, this one isn't amazing, but we get a random player between the 14 players from Indonesia in EAFC, and we will be getting number 8. That is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is Ole Romani out of Oxford United. Welcome to the team, my man. So now we have something that looks very European, I would have to say. That is a European house if I've ever seen one. We can't catch up to this truck though. That looks English, honestly. What does this... Oh, so this is Germany, right? I feel quite confident going with Germany here. I saw the U with the 2 dots, and it is Germany. So we are going to get my pick of a German player. That is huge. We need more like that. Well, this is finally one of our first chances to get somebody big locked down. And I feel like we have to go with either a goalkeeper or a defender here. And we're going to take Joshua Kimmich as the highest overall player to play right back for us, unless we can get another right back. But I am very happy with that pickup. So we are now 15 down, 5 to go, or 8 to go still. Okay, so here, that is not an EU license plate. Yeah. This also doesn't look very... Oh, this is like... Is this gonna be Japan? I'm interested if I see any English here, and it could be like the Philippines. Let's see if we can find any text anywhere. But at this point, Japan has to be the favored guess. Oh, here we go. See, I just don't know the differences between Japanese, Korean, and Chinese that well. Now, I don't think China's in Geoguessr. So it would really be between Japan and Korea. And this just feels a little more Japanese to me. I don't know. So let's go Japan and just see what happens. It is Japan, come on. So we get my pick of a player from Japan, and that gives us some very decent options. I am happy with that. And that is my second correct pick in a row, so let's go. Well, we get my pick in Japan, and I have to go with Takefusa Kubo. Just easiest pick of the lot. Don't really care that Mitoma is on the board here. That's who I want, Kubo. Get him on the team. Let's lock it in. Welcome. Okay, now we're in the middle of nowhere. Always when I see this, I think Europe. It could always be like South America as well, but that is European right there. That it has to be somewhere in Europe. So hopefully we should at least get our pick of 5 players. Let's see. Anything we can find would be so helpful. What is this here? That's France, right? Come on. Let's go. That is our 3rd correct guess in a row, and is my pick of a French player. That is huge. Well, we have my pick of a player from France, and how can I go anybody else but the best player in the world himself, Kylian Mbappe. It's just such an easy pick here. So happy to have him on the team. Welcome. Okay. What on earth is that word there? Look at that. What even is that? I have no idea what language that is, by the way. That is... Okay, we are in the EU. That is helpful information. I'm kind of getting Dutch vibes here. Is that a crazy guess? Is that too crazy of a guess? Let's see what the sign says. It does kind of feel Dutch. You know what? I'm just gonna go Netherlands and we'll see what happens. It's Germany. It did not look German at all, to be honest with you, but that is interesting. But we do get to pick 5 German players and wheel spin it down to 1. So that is definitely not too bad. Well, we have Germany again, and I think we are going to get a goalkeeper locked down here. We don't have a single goalkeeper on the roster, and if we know anything, Germany has some good goalkeeper depth. So we are going to have Marc-Andre ter Stegen at 1, Neuer at 2, Baumann at 3. We will have Alexander Nubel at 4, and Kevin Trapp at 5. Let's see who we get. Number 3. That is going to be Oliver Baumann. Every time I see his name now, I think Oliver Bierman, but if you know, you know. Next up, we have a road and trees. That doesn't look like an EU license plate. I feel like there's a good chance this is America. Oh, and we've hit the end of the road. You know what? I'm just going to go the US, and hopefully it is. It's Russia. How was I ever going to get that? So we get a random Russian player. There are some okay Russian players in FIFA, but yeah, that one's tough. I don't even know how I could have guessed that. Well, we get our pick from Russia, and there are 18 players to choose from. We will see who we get in this random guess. We are going to get number 5, which honestly isn't too bad because that gets us a backup goalkeeper lockdown. Nikita Hyken from Bodo Glimt. This is giving some America vibes here. I'm definitely always going to be slightly biased towards going to the US because that's where I live, if you can't tell from my accent and the fact that I mostly do football videos. And when I say football, I mean American football, and specifically college football. So let's see what that sign says. We had another... Where else did we have a sign that said no passing zone? That I remember... Okay, US Highway 63. US Highway 63 would be... Let's see if we can... Here is 65... Now I've got to try and get this exact. 60... I'm thinking more... 64... Come on. Where is 63? Well, I'm just going to go where it said 64 and 65. It was a little more north, but that is not a bad guess. So we get another player from the U.S. We're definitely going to have a major U.S. presence on this team. Well, we have my pick again from the USA, and I think we are going to take the versatile player himself, Serginho Dest, to get some fullback depth on the team. We now have... This is definitely either Mexico or South America. I wonder if we can find like a URL here. Unless that's not Portuguese, is it? It almost looks more like Portuguese. Well, yeah, it has to be Portuguese because Spanish doesn't have those weird C's. I think I'm just going to go Brazil. It has to be, right? It just feels like, it feels so much more like Mexico than it does Brazil, but then, yeah, well, we're going to go with the Brazil and see what happens. It is Brazil. Yes, that'll give us a massive player. That is huge for the team. I know we have a couple of center backs already on the roster, but for my pick from Brazil, I have to pair back up the Arsenal duo, the ones that have barely conceded goals all season, outside of the fact that Gabriel had an awful game against Sunderland this past week, but we are going to take him and reunite the pair on our own team. Okay, now we've got a Roger one. I'm thinking Southeast Asia here. The trees are kind of giving off that vibe. I almost want to just go back to Indonesia. We already had that once. Now, oh, there's some English there. Is there any chance this is the Philippines? Or is this like India? That almost looks like an Indian language. And I feel like the way people are dressing kind of gives off that vibe as well. I'm just going to feel very bad about myself if I said Indonesia and it is. Okay, it is India. Come on. That does absolutely no good for our team. I couldn't even name you an Indian player off the top of my head, if I'm being honest. But the Indian League is in FIFA, so there has to be somebody. I don't know. Well, I get my pick of a player from India, and unfortunately there aren't too many great Indian players in the game. So we might as well take the one Indian player that I think most people know, and that's Sunil Shetty from Bengaluru. And yeah, not great, 40 years old, but we'll do it for the memes. Next up, we have this. There is smoke coming from somewhere. Hopefully everyone's okay. This just looks like Florida. No, it is. It's definitely not Florida. It is the Philippines. Okay. I also don't know if there's anybody good from the Philippines. Well, there really are not a lot of players from the Philippines in EAFC, but I think just because I feel like we need some center back depth, we're going to go with Randy Schneider. So why not? I am on 4 correct picks in a row. That is some improvement right there compared to the start of the round where I couldn't get anything even close. Well, so I imagine this is some English-speaking place because that looked English there. Matilda Lane. Huh. See, this is so interesting because what English-speaking country would have... So I don't think it's the UK either. So is this just a very weird example of the US? I guess it could be Australia as well. This can't be the US, right? I'm going to go Australia and just hope. Oh my gosh, it was the US. It just didn't look like it at all. Man, That is tough. Well, it's the United States again, and this time it's random though, so we'll see who we get. We get, well, that's crazy. We got number 1, but we already have number 1 on our roster, so we're going to go again, and this time we get 41. That is unfortunate. I will count and see you guys in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And, well, definitely isn't anything special, but we end up picking up Stephen Fry from Seattle Sounders. Third goalkeeper, I guess. For our final round, in fact, yes, I did decide, if you didn't notice, to go for 25, just so we can finish out the round. Hathersage. This might just be the U.S. again. Let's see what this is. I don't know. Oh, man. This is not the US, I don't think. I almost kind of want to go Canada here, though. Would that be crazy? I'm going to go Canada. We'll see what happens. It is. Come on. That's a great guess to finish off. I know it's way far off, but we got the country correct. And we can get some very decent players from Canada. So we're going to make our guess. We're going to make our pick for Canada, and then we will get right into the challenge. Well, it's our final pick, and there's only one man we can pick here. Given it's my pick, we are going to take Alphonso Davies. Well, we are in FIFA or EAFC now, and we are going to get right into this. Why don't we take a quick look at our squad here, and we can go ahead and look at this. I do have a bit of unfortunate information, though. Unfortunately, 2 men have not made it with us, that being Eric Sanchez and Sabra. Ibrahim Sabra, I think his name is. And apparently they're not in FIFA. So, complain to EA, not to me. Now, it definitely seems like, looking back at it, like the site that we used was not quite up to date, because I was thinking as I was doing it that Minor Solomon played for Tottenham, not for Villarreal. And yeah. So must have been created at the start of the game. Maybe some of the guys have been taken out, put back in. I think we are going to play like a just normal 4-4-2 formation here. Actually, I think we might play... I definitely want 2 strikers because we have Gyökeres and Mbappe. I think we might give this a try, a 4-1-3-2. So we are going to have Davies, Gabriel, Saliba, Kimmich. We have... See, the biggest issue with our team here is, unfortunately, we just do not quite have the depth. But we have Pulisic, who will put on the left side, and we have Kubo that will put on the right side. And yeah, unfortunately, I think that, well, you know what we'll do is we'll make Kimmich our defensive midfielder. We'll start Serginho Dest. Where is he? There he is. So this will be our starting lineup. It is not amazing, but it's going to have to do the job. Our attack, our front two is unbelievable. Then our center back pairing, as well as our defensive midfielder, is also unbelievable. But everything else could use some work for sure. Let's go ahead and get these two guys in here. And at least we have a couple of okay options to put in off the bench. We have Robinson, we have Medina, we have Solomon, we have Buati. I wish we had a striker, but it is what it is. So, really, what we are just going to do is we are Newport County just because I released everybody else on the team and they don't have anybody good, so there's nobody that's going to be a threat to the simulation. But we are in the Premier League, and we are also in the Champions League, and yeah, so I will come back at the middle of the season mark, and we will see how we are doing. So it is about halfway through the season, and we seem to be sitting 6th place in the Premier League. Let's take a look at the standings here. We are currently 6th. We are 11 points off of first place Liverpool. Honestly, not the worst. This is actually a little over halfway through the Premier League season, so we could get to the end of the Champions League group phase. But we're comfortably surviving, over 20 points out of the drop zone. And honestly, it's kind of where you would expect us to be after half of the season. The team isn't anything crazy, but we do still have guys like Mbappe and like Geoguessr and Saliba. So if we take a look at the FA Cup, we are into the 4th round. We took down Doncaster in round 3. So we play Brentford in the next round. We'll see where we go with that. We are not... we lost early in the Carabao Cup. We lost in the 2nd round to Cardiff City. That is rough. And in the Champions League, we finished 17th. So we make it through, but we do not make it through the top 8. We have to go through the playoff qualifier. So I guess we'll see how it goes. So I decided that we would stop at each Champions League game just to build a little bit of suspense through the Champions League knockout phase. We were playing Stuttgart in the playoff qualifier round, and in the first leg we will win 2-1. We now have the second leg of the match at home. Hopefully we can get through just to limit any potential problems here. We do. We win 3-0. We take that. In fact, Take scores a goal. I think that's Kubo. Did not think that his name would be that in FIFA. That is interesting. But we get through to the next round. Hopefully we won't play anybody too difficult. Of course, it can never be that simple. We are taking on Real Madrid in the round of 16. We have the away leg first, and I am not confident. Let's see what happens. We only lose 3-2 in the first leg. That gives us a chance in the second leg. Something that's very helpful for us here is that we took Mbappe from them, so they do not have Mbappe. Let's see about leg 2. Okay, so we are down 3-2 in this series against Real Madrid. Let's see if we can pull something out. I'm not confident, but let's see about it. Oh my gosh, we lose 4-0. Wow. And we're out of the Champions League. That is tough. Well, it was a good run, y'all. We'll see what we can do for the rest of the Premier League season. Well, that's unfortunate. This was not a good season at all for the team. Unfortunately, we could not build a championship-winning team. Not in the Champions League, not in the Premier League, not in anything. We end up finishing comfortably out of the title. I don't even know how this happens. Arsenal loses 3 of their best players to us and still finishes on 83 points. I guess they have great depth, but who knows. We ended up finishing about 25 points off the title. Never really any worry about getting relegated, but that is quite unfortunate. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Let me know what challenges you would like me to do, what you think of this kind of format of video, and make sure to stay tuned for future uploads. But thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good one. Bye.